Hey there friends, it's Nick. Right, it's Monday morning, but I'd like to talk about Friday evening because on Friday, Wendy and I went to a friend's 50th birthday party at a gin distillery, which was awesome, as you can imagine. We had a few drinks, we took a cocktail making class, which was great fun, and we also had a tour, and that's what I want to talk about really because tours, business tours are effectively the businesses talking about themselves, right? And if you're whether you're a solopreneur or an entrepreneur or you do marketing for a brand, I mean, very often that your job is essentially talking about yourself and your products. And I think this is where it gets interesting because, as you can imagine, a talk about distilling gin is a lot less interesting than the gin itself. And we went into a room with some big tanks and there was pipes and they talked about steam and all this kind of thing. And there was sort of polite interest in the tour group, I would say. But then they did something that really kind of humanised the thing. And if you've seen the Start Here video, Start Here content on this channel, particularly the story structure one, which talked about the story triangle, you'll remember that the first point of that triangle is character. I think you need character to tell a good story. And they introduced this brilliantly halfway through. I think like any company that relies on a kind of recipe to succeed, they are very secret about the exact proportion of all the elements that go into their gin. And halfway through the presentation, the lady giving the talk said, "And that recipe is not written down." And you go, "What? It's not written down anywhere?" And it turns out that there are only two people in the world at any one time who know the recipe to their particular types of gin, and you kind of think about that and you're putting it all together, and then you go, but that means, and then she says it exactly. She says, and they are not allowed to travel together because, obviously because the same meteorite might hit them or the same car crash might take out the whole business. Now I presume it's true. We take them at their word, but it is certainly a really interesting way of humanizing the kind of the sort of the value of the gin and the process, and it gives it's one of the things that gave the audience a little sort of flutter. And I think that's quite interesting, relevant to you if you're talking about your business. I mean, how can you humanize your business more? Because very often we're talking about corporations, we're talking about processes, and if we can get to the human sort of value of that, it makes a big difference to the power of our stories. Anyway, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, it's storyhacker.tv on YouTube. If you subscribe, you'll get the first piece of content about the story triangle. Also, and then check out the Start Here content, which goes into more details, like a 30-minute sort of little series of videos that take less than 30 minutes that gives you a kind of real good grounding in storytelling technique. Thanks for watching. I'm Nick Warren. This is storyhacker.tv.